Are we good?
Good.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Macy. I'm joined by Virginia and Sinclair, and we did a study replication on increasing physical activity through self-monitoring, goal setting, and feedback. The study that we replicated was by Matthew Norman in 2008, titled Increasing Physical Activity Through Self-Monitoring, Goal Setting, and Feedback. The recommended daily average of steps is around 10,000 steps per day. This gained popularity around 1960 in Japan due to a walking club slogan, in which the word pedometer literally translated to 10,000 steps meter. This obviously has been the popular opinion, and there's been a lot of research done on the benefits of this number of 10,000 steps per day. But research that we found by Tudor, Locke, and Bassett in 2004 states that it would be healthier to do around 30 minutes of physical activity a day, where the average number of steps is about 3,000 to 4,000 within that 30 minutes, versus doing this popular 10,000 steps on average a day. This is due to a lot of different factors. Tudor, Locke, and Bassett listed things such as age, gender, and lifestyle. So despite this number of 10,000, on average, adults are taking less than 8,000 steps a day. Tudor, Locke, and Bassett outlined the amount of steps people are taking on average corresponding to their lifestyle. So very sedentary lifestyle people are taking less than 5,000 steps a day, whereas very active people who are partaking in physical activity and sport daily are ranging from 7,000 to 13,000 steps a day. So the current research that we have looked at examines how interventions such as goal setting, self-monitoring, and feedback can increase daily step count and overall physical activity, as well as the benefits that come with this increase, such as increasing general overall health and decreasing obesity. Overall, the studies that we looked at showed a significant increase of daily steps at about 40%, but neither of the studies reported a change in body mass index or weight.
The purpose of this project is to present a study that evaluates whether goal setting, self-monitoring, and feedback increase the daily step count in the hopes of preventing weight gain, as discussed in this study by Norman. So the subjects who participated in this project were Macy, Virginia, and Sinclair. The settings included their workplace, homes, stores, restaurants, and outside. This project focused on each participant's daily step count. The step has been defined as an activity that results in a count being added to a step counting device. Participants in the study were required to use a step counting device. The devices that were used for this project were Fitbit and pedometers. For those that used a pedometer, masking tape was used to cover the screen to ensure they did not see their count steps throughout the day of the baseline phase. Other materials used in this project were Google Hangouts, a video chat, Microsoft Excel for graphing purposes, and cell phones or computers for texting and emails as the primary form of communication. The data collection method that was chosen for this project was frequency data in order to track the total number of steps daily. Each participant was in charge of tracking their own steps on a spreadsheet and relaying their daily steps to their partners. Macy relayed to Virginia, Virginia relayed to Sinclair, and Sinclair relayed to Macy. Each participant kept a spreadsheet for themselves and for their partner.
The replicated study used a multiple baseline across subjects design, and according to Cooper et al. 2007, a multiple baseline design in which the treatment variable is applied to the same behavior, in our case, steps per day, of 2 or more subjects, Macy, Virginia, Sinclair, in the same setting. Each of the participants went through an AB-AB reversal design. Currently, we are in the baseline 2 for 5 days, and then we will return to intervention 2 for another 5 days. For the baseline, participants were not allowed to check their pedometer or Fitbit. They were supposed to cover it with masking tape and send a photo to their designated partner, Macy to Virginia, Virginia to Sinclair, and Sinclair to Macy, to ensure that the tape was not moved through baseline. Participants needed to relay their daily steps to their partner via email or text on Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And each participant would have their own spreadsheet due to ensure that data was not on a public display. For the intervention phases, this consisted of goal setting, self-monitoring, and feedback. The step goals were determined by the average steps taken during the baseline phases. If the participants met their goal, their number increased. If they didn't meet their goal, it did not increase. Self-monitoring was done by each participant. They were able to check their pedometer during the intervention phase. Be sure to remember that during the baseline phase, it was covered, so we weren't checking during that time. Self-monitoring wasn't going on. During the self-monitoring time, you could take mental notes, whether to increase your steps or if you were right on track for your steps for the day. Feedback was given on a one-to-one basis to the designated partner, Macy to Virginia, Virginia to Sinclair, Sinclair to Macy. Feedback was given verbally or visually, or both. Verbally, good job, keep it up, just an encouraging to keep your partner to keep going along the day. Self-report steps were reported daily by their participant by entering the step count into their spreadsheet during the evening. Inter-observer agreement, IOA, was calculated at the end of each intervention phase. IOA was calculated using daily self-reported steps and daily counter-reported steps. It was calculated by dividing the number of steps that agree by the number that disagree plus the ones that agree, and multiplying by 100 to get a percentage. IOA for each participant was at 100%. Treatment fidelity would be ensured by dividing the number of days each participant did not email or text their daily step total by the number of total days in the intervention phase and multiplying by 100 to get a percentage. Again, treatment fidelity was 100% for each of the participants.
All right, so my results showed no significant difference, with the average step increase being at 4%. Overall, there is a very slight positive trend from baseline 1 average steps to intervention 1 average steps.
Oh, I'm sorry. During my baseline range, it was kind of variable after Monday, which gave me an average of 7,824 steps. During my intervention phase, kind of saw a small decrease, and then kind of averaged around Wednesday through Friday, getting my average at 7,834 steps.
The data during my baseline didn't really show a clear trend. There was a slight decrease. However, the data went back up. I had an average of about 6,001 steps. And then during my intervention phase, I had a huge decrease in data that maintained low but went back up on the last day. So my average for my intervention was about 4,966 steps. But because I did not meet the 6,001 average from the baseline phase during the intervention phase on 3 out of 5 days, that continued to be my goal for the next phase.
Some conclusions for this project still cannot be made as we're still in the process of collecting data for our second baseline phase and into our second intervention phase. Currently, the conclusions that we can make are that we are seeing very little increase, even decreases in some areas between our baseline 1 and intervention 1 phase for the average daily step count. But overall, there seems to be a positive trend, and we'll definitely know more with the conclusion of our second intervention phase. Some limitations of the study are that it does not look at the overall benefit of increasing steps. As stated in the first few slides, a lot of the studies looked at how body mass index or weight could be affected by increasing physical activity through increasing overall step count. And because the study we replicated by Matthew Norman did not look at weight, or the factor of weight was dropped by the end of the study, we did not have the option of looking at how weight would change due to increasing our steps. Other limitations included the time limit that we had to deal with. We had a very small time window for collecting data. This resulted in a small data sample of only 5 days for each phase. And we also had a relatively small sample size with only 3 participants.